Hello, my name is Zay. This will be a continuation of the last video where I talked and showed you the first part of the interview toward Hiro. This will be part 2 of it. Again, I will be picking some important question and answers to talk about my opinion on it as a PSO2 veteran. Without further ado, let's get into it. With the first question and answer presented, in short, Hiro was asked why power level existed in NGS. He then answered that it's because the expert matching system in the base PSO2 game wasn't a good system, so this is a replacement. For those of you that are playing on a global server, they never made it a thing. It was back in episode 3 on JP PSO2 where you needed to beat certain harder content to obtain this title. Then, people with the title will be provided with the option to match only with other players with the title in certain quests. Basically separated the casual and the hardcore players in my opinion. I did have a video talking about why this system is very important in some ways. You may check it out if you're interested. Back to our topic, if the development team put this power level in the game just to replace expert matching, this is quite pathetic. We have to understand that expert matching is not something that restricts players from doing the quest. It is just like a filter that filters out the really bad players. Power level is something that directly restricts players from doing the quest if they do not have the certain value of it. So in my opinion, these two things are completely separated. Hiro can't call expert matching something bad since it did serve its purpose in the base game. It was there for years, it worked out, it's great to have, as many players and friends would say. Power level on the other hand is a very incomplete system. I'm sure the development team did not think it through. Example like you may have people hitting the 1184 mark for the EQs but being very underleveled. Another example such as some very useless abilities grant someone massive power level boost. These are the flaws of the system they've implemented. It sure isn't making the game better, and it has nothing to do with the expert matching system in the base game. For this section, Hiro was asked why the schedule for the NGS EQs are disabled. He then answered and stated that it is considered an unfair advantage for people to use the schedule. And indeed, that's the reason why schedule EQs are disabled on NGS. Also, all the EQs have the same time on all ships now, unlike PSO2 where certain EQs will appear on certain ships during the certain hours. To me, scheduled EQs are like something for players to know when they should get online and do some EQs. Without it, I believe people wouldn't know when to get on for EQs. It's horribly done. This does not give players the reason to stay online and wait for EQs. It will just repel players away from the game. Because whenever they get online, there's nothing to do besides waiting. How counterproductive, am I right? I also do not believe putting a schedule out there is considered unfairness toward anyone. Anyone can use it to their advantage at any point. The point of having EQs on different schedules for different ships back in the PSO2 days was because the game was so active on 10 ships on a Japanese server. Unfortunately, it led to all ships being congested, caused people to disconnect it from the server and whatnot. That was the reason why some EQs are split into 2 hours back to back in 10 ships on the Japanese server. It's not because we got random EQs, it's because the server issue mostly. With what Hiro stated, I'm starting to question if he really played the game that much, or he might just refuse to understand and learn the meaning of these in-game features. Shame on him, and shame on Sega for having him in this position. The next thing we will be addressing will be this question regarding the Gigantics and why it exists only on the 32-man field. Hiro gave out the answer of it is something you will find while exploring the area with an open field in the game. It's a new way of playing the game that PSO2 did not have. This is probably the most pathetic answer I can think of, but yes, he said it. A new type of play that PSO2 did not have. If this is something you want us to acknowledge, your boring ass open field exists, it's embarrassing. Sure, it can be fun with 32 people fighting Gigantics, but the amount of time you have to wait for it is not fun. This isn't really anything like you explore the area and you find this strong enemy to fight. It's about you waiting a long period of time and getting 2 to 3 minutes of fun. It's not worth it if you ask me. The more important thing will be there is a level restriction to it. If you aren't level 20, you don't get no reward. Yeah, right, explore and fight strong enemies. The fact is that you can't even fight it if you're on level 20. makes it extremely not friendly for new players. Also, don't forget the problem it had caused when it was released for the first week. Concluding all of that, I just want to say this is potentially a good idea, but poorly executed. It could use some work for sure. The next question toward Hiro was, why did they decide to decrease the amount of PAs and techniques? He then answered that there were many useless PA and techniques in the base game. They'd rather make everything effective and have players use them all. Also, the multi-weapon system will come in handy. Another pathetic answer toward the question. To me, more PAs and technique means more ways to play the class, more variety toward it as well, where the same class can be played in different ways. Multi-weapon does not fix the issue of the amount of PAs and techniques being limited. Ultimately, if there are PAs or techniques that are underrated or not being used as often by the player, balancing it and make it more viable is part of their job. Eliminating other possible ways to play the class will only result in boring and repetitive gameplay. This is why classes feel beyond boring in NGS due to the fact your option for PAs and technique are so limited. Until they add more options, it will stay the same. We then move on to the last question of my choice. When Hiro was asked about if there's any way for players to get more money for gearing up, since it takes quite some meseta to do so, he let us know that the weekly meseta will increase. I believe it's a bad idea. Everyone get more money, meaning the market will be more inflated. Everything will be more expensive. No one will be able to afford AC items with meseta anymore. Gearing up really isn't the issue. Seeing how easy the current content is, you will need to gear up, but the amount of money that needed to spend on it shouldn't be that much. Also seeing how slow the update for the content is. A set of gear will last a while. What I would like to see is the pricing on different items, be it AC items or just capsules, to be balanced by Sega. As you may know, new AC items are always very expensive, to the point free-to-play player can simply not afford it. Oh, by the way, if you think we just need more people to scratch more AC items, you're not much better than Hiro. You're pathetic as well, so shut up, fanboy Andes. That will be it for this later half of the interview toward Hiro, with some important question picked out among all. I believe some answers are pretty questionable. I also question why Hiro was put to this position when he answered so poorly on most of these questions. Really make your game looks like a pile of hot garbage. What do you think about these question and answer I picked out? You may leave a comment below and share with us. That'll be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Day. See you next time.